worth it because it will give us the opportunity to understand the things that I'm talking about. Are you there? So the temple was built to capture the dimension of angels. It was built to capture the offices of men. The idea is that when you are ministering in the temple, you should be bumping into angels. You should be bumping into cherubims. And all of that is taking place in the building. If you go outside of the building, you are no longer in that privileged place. You get it? All right, so Luke chapter 1 verse 5. We have a journey tonight, and it's very technical, so I like to get your attention. There was in the days of Herod the king of Judea a certain priest named Zacharias of the course of Abia, and his wife was of the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. And they were both righteous before God, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord blameless. And they had no child because that Elizabeth was barren. And they both were now well stricken in years. And it came to pass, while he executed the priest office before God in the order of his course, according to the custom of the priest office, his lot was to burn incense when he went into the temple of the Lord. And the whole multitude of the people were praying without at the time of incense. And there appeared unto him an angel of the Lord standing on the right side of the altar of incense, and Zacharias saw him. He was troubled, and fear fell upon him, and the angel said unto him, Fear not, Zacharias, for thy prayer is heard, and thy wife Elizabeth shall bear thee a son, and thou shalt call his name John. And thou shalt have joy and gladness, and many shall rejoice at his birth, for he shall be great in the sight of the Lord, and shall drink neither wine nor strong drink, and he shall be filled with the Holy Ghost from his mother's womb. And many of the children of Israel shall he turn to the Lord their God. And he shall go before him in the spirit and the power of Elias, to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the just, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord. And Zacharias said unto the angel, Whereby shall I know this? For I am an old man, and my wife well stricken in years. And the angel answering said unto him, I am Gabriel, that stand in the presence of God, and I am sent to speak unto thee, and to show thee these glad tidings. And behold, thou shalt be dumb and not able to speak until the day that these things be performed, because thou believest not my words, which shall be fulfilled in their season. Okay. I have a question. And the question that I have is, where was Zachariah? Don't be quiet now. Don't be quiet. Huh? I can't hear what you say. I said, where was Zachariah? Okay, somebody say in the temple. Someone else says in the presence of God. So when Gabriel was compelled to introduce himself, he said, I am Gabriel, that standeth in the presence of God. So what is it about the presence of God that Gabriel knew? Or wasn't Zachariah in the presence of God? So what was the difference between the place Zachariah was and the place Gabriel was? I need answers. I need answers for these matters. Because it was obvious. Are you there? Okay, let me give you an insight. Let me give you an insight, but I will not help you again. If next time, if you don't understand, we close the chapter. We'll just leave it. Zechariah was in the part of the presence of God where prayer was manufactured. Gabriel was operating from the part of the presence of God where prayers are answered. So when Gabriel speaks about the presence of God, he was speaking about a different experience, a different realm. Are you still with me? But these two realms collocated in a building. So it was built to capture realms so that there will be collocations. By the time you go into the Holy of Holies, there is a collocation that can bring God into focus. Cherubims into focus. All of this is happening in one building. This technology that was used to build the temple was a discovery that Jacob made when there was no physical building. There were dimensions of God that were trapped in a location, and he identified the location to be what? And you know there was no physical building. I'm trying to define the local church. If you don't have the background, you will not know. You will think, let's take it easy and touch it and move it gradually. Then you will understand what I have a burden, but I need to take you through the protocol of scriptures in order for you to see clearly what the Lord has burdened me with. Are you there? Okay, so you got that point now. Let's make some moves. Let's take some examples. And then when we make the moves, before we go into the New Testament, there is no way you can understand this concept just from the New Testament. We need to lay foundation. Let's start with Deuteronomy chapter 33. Are you there? So there were two things that Jacob saw in the location, that Jacob identified in the location. The first thing he identified in the physical location was that this is the house of God. That's the first thing. Second thing he identified in the location is this is the gate of heaven. Now, for the purpose of my lecture this evening, we will not be talking about the gate of heaven. We'll just limit ourselves to the house of God because of the topic that we are dealing with. If you understand the concept of the house of God well, then you can study the other aspect and understand it. So, but that's not my emphasis, so we'll stay with the house of God. Can we do Deuteronomy chapter 33 so that I can explain further to us?